And, you know, we're running a little behind, but it's all good. I'm your host, Terrence Styles of the Styyle Chronicles, and I am in the studio with one of my fabulous friends. Sean Mack is in the building.
Oh, Smack is back. I like that. Smack is back.
Smack is back.
Smack is back.
He is back to spend another Monday with me.
I'm on the twos and ones. I'm gonna say it backwards. On the twos and ones.
Not the twos and the ones.
Yeah,
Sean, what do I do with you?
I don't know. But I'm glad to be back. It felt like I've been gone for.
It does. I've been gone for a minute. Now it's time for the jump off.
Jump off. Jump off.
She's so crazy.
We should get on Puffy label.
Does he still have it?
I don't even know.
No, we're gonna be like
we're
gonna be like Danny the Kane and all the rest of them. No, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
Damaged Kane.
And they had a song called Damaged.
They knew.
You know
They
what?
knew
I ain't gonna be able to do
it was damaged.
I'm just not gonna be able to do it with you. All right, guys. You know what it's time for. All right, so it's time for our weekend recap. Sean, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
All right, so my weekend Friday, after work, I went and got I had to get so fresh and so clean, so I had to get my hair cut.
All right.
Because I was looking like a wolf. And
Take your hat off.
No.
Okay.
I don't feel like it. But you know, I look like a wolf in sheep's clothing, so I had to get my hair cut and everything. So I did that on Friday. Got home and I was totally exhausted. Totally exhausted.
Okay.
So I was watching some DVDs, you know, that's what I do. So I was watching Rain Man. I haven't seen Rain Man in like forever. So
Okay.
I watched Rain Man and
I haven't seen it in a long time either.
and I tried to watch a little bit of Big Business with Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin.
Yes.
And I started falling asleep, so I shut the lights out and I was out.
Like a light.
Right, out. So Saturday I had Zumba, yeah, Zumba, yeah, yeah. So I had Zumba.
That would be $5.
Right. I had Zumba on Saturday. After Zumba, I ran a few errands, and then I had to get prepared. I was washing clothes, and then I had to get prepared for filming. So I'm the co-host on the Spin Cycle, which airs on ABC Channel 2, Keeping It Real TV on Saturday nights at 1 a.m. So the owner April J and I, we the host of it, and it was a packed show. We did 2 different shows, but 4 segments. One was 4, one was 6.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we're covered for like the next 2 months or so.
Okay.
So we did the taping, filming for that, and y'all find out what it is. Anywho, make sure y'all keep it locked. Saturday nights, 1 a.m. ABC Channel 2, Keeping It Real TV, the Spin Cycle. It's good. Yeah, it was really good. Especially the second filming was off the chain.
Okay, you say how can you watch it again?
It's on ABC Channel 2 here in Baltimore.
Okay.
And it's Keeping It Real TV comes on at 1 a.m. Saturday nights at 1 a.m.
Okay.
So for those that are asleep, DVR it.
Or didn't decide to go to the club then.
Or didn't decide to go to the club and you're up, then DVR it or don't, or whatever, just watch it.
Exactly.
You either watch it in live time or watch it when you record it.
Okay.
Because it's off the chain, especially the second filming we did. And I think April J learned a lot on Saturday. I think she just learned a whole new category of things. But yeah, so did that, and then hung out with one of the people of the guest of the show when we taped, hung out with them a little afterwards, and then I went home and chilled. And yesterday, I had my Sunday already planned out. So I had made myself brunch. Then I had already planned to go to DC for the premiere of season 2 of Finding Me.
Oh, okay.
They had Finding Me the first movie,
right,
and the second one, and then they made it into a series.
Okay.
So they showed the previews of that, a premiere of season 2. So Calvin and I went to that in DC, and then afterwards I had to come back to Baltimore and went to a colleague of mine's, Danielle Baker. She had a fashion show yesterday, so I went to that.
Miss Baker.
Right. So I went to that to support her. So I had to make sure, and what I loved about it was that, and she told me this, she said it's only going to be an hour. She started at 7 o'clock.
Say it again.
She started at 7 o'clock.
One more time.
Guess what? She started at 7 o'clock. Guess what time that's what time it ended. When I say she came out on stage at 8 o'clock, at 8 o'clock.
On the dot.
Her and her daughter was hitting the runway at 8 o'clock. It was over.
That was timing. That was like, look.
And it went straight through.
You don't do nothing else.
Right.
Keep it straight.
Right.
Simple. Wait a minute.
Right.
Cut that track
She
short.
did straight runway. And it was no intermission. It was straight through. I was like, you better do it.
Yeah.
That's how everybody needs to do it.
Exactly.
Everybody needs to do it like that because it's to the point. Like, just get people in, get people out. Because as soon as you grab them, and it's over, they be like, well, what happened?
Yep.
Versus you grab them and then you have these intermissions or you have all these breaks or whatever, and then they lost.
Or you come late.
You lose them.
You come late, so you miss everything.
So you miss everything. So, but that's on them.
Right.
That's on them that they show up late.
Right.
Exactly. But how about this? How about I came in, I wanted to sit towards the back. So I sat towards the entrance and I sat like maybe 2 or 3 rows from the back. And I sat right on the end so that way if it ran over, because I had other things to do.
Yeah,
so I was like, if it's not over by 8:30, I gotta just jet out. So I sat on the end and it was still a nice little, clear vision of everything. So maybe halfway in the show, these like 2, 3 girls come up. And she was like, somebody's in. I said, the first 2 seats are cool, but the third seat, somebody's in it. So I guess she had another hunger. And so the 2 girls were talking to themselves. Oh, I don't want to leave her over there. And then so the one girl asked me, she was like, can you move up there? Well, I said, somebody's sitting up there. I didn't know if they were, but I said, somebody's sitting up. Like, who are you to tell me I've been here since the beginning? Since it started, I didn't show up late, and even if I did, like I would not ask somebody, "Can you move up there?"
Can you move up there? Right?
Like, what?
Exactly.
Like I said, somebody's sitting up there.
People are bold these
Right?
days. People are bold.
I said, I wanted to say, I said, who was you talking to?
You gotta let them know that Rosa Parks work hard.
I'm like, ma'am. Like, I'm comfortable, I'm on the end and I'm towards the back. I wanted to be towards the back on purpose, so that way if it ran over, I could just scoot out. Without being, excuse me. I was just like, I wanted to say, Huzzy.
Now wait, isn't that sad that they're trying to get you to move from the back? Like, you're not even in the front.
Right.
You're in the back.
Right.
Now they're trying to steal your seat from the back.
Right.
You can't sit in the back, the middle, the front.
You can't sit nowhere.
That's when you go sit on the runway.
Right, thank you. That's what I started to sit. I was like, well, I'm just going to sit on the runway.
Exactly.
But no, it was a
Become a mannequin?
Right. And she had some mannequins when I first came in. She had models that were posed up when you first walked in.
I like that. Nice.
But yeah, the facility she had it at was, I can't say because this is going to be free promotion, but it's downtown off of Howard in Mulberry.
Okay.
I've never been there. It's a nice facility. It reminds me of a...
Is it one of them hidden ones? Because I know a lot
It's
of
not
stuff
hidden. It's on the corner. It runs right in front of it sits right in front of where the light rail runs.
Oh, okay.
It's down the street from where another place that's legendary is on
I got you. Okay.
So that one is further up, which is going towards State Center.
Okay.
And the other one is further down, like in the heart of downtown.
I swear, people be finding stuff.
Yeah.
They be finding stuff.
Yeah, but I've always seen that building, but I didn't know it was like working conditions or whatever. But it was really nice in the inside. Like it's cute for a party or a fashion show, clearly. So it was really cool. It's our 12th annual fashion show. She's 12 years in the business. Really good. I just loved it. It was short, sweet, and to the point. Like that was.
Those are always the good ones.
Yeah,
that really always the good ones.
That was everything to me. So yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. Had to get ready for work today, and so yeah, it was a lot. But
you sound like you did a whole lot.
Yeah, I did do a whole. I did a whole lot this weekend, but it's all good.
Well, you're here now.
Yes,
and we survived this beginning portion of the Styyle Chronicles.
Yes. How was your weekend?
Well, since I'm back, do I go back from the last time I was here?
No, you do not. You've been here all night. We do not do that. Oh my God. I can't with you. Don't start it.
Picture it. It's like, no, you're not.
Sicily. Baltimore.
February 28th.
Really? 1920.
1920. Right. When I hit a pothole. It's like,
oh, I can't. Not the pothole.
No, my weekend was actually awesome. I had a really good weekend. I've been really extremely busy as of late. But Friday went with my good friend Isaiah, her friend Lauren, and one of my friends that came into town, Kenny, came from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We went to this restaurant called Ain't Your Mama's. Ain't Your Mama's. It's a Mexican restaurant that's like real known down in Fells Point. Mm-hmm. I have never ever waited that long for some food. Just to get a seat, to get a table there, literally It was an hour and 45 minutes.
Don't they have other restaurants around Fells Point?
I don't know. I said, ain't your mama better be your mama's. It better be good. It was okay. It was good. It wasn't bad. Their soup was everything. You will love their soup. It was some black chicken soup.
That sounds good.
That's all I do. But did that, and then on Saturday, sat around, kind of watched a little bit, some TV shows, catch up on some shows because I'm a little bit behind. You know, when you get behind.
Have you been watching Once Upon a Time?
No, I've been holding, but I love the whole new Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
I said, oh, they threw a little magic up in that thing.
Little sprinkle,
Exactly.
little paprika.
Yes, paprika.
Little paprika.
Come on, God.
Come on, paprika. Yes, paprika.
A little obey.
Yes,
the green
obey.
version. The green version.
Right. Yes, obey.
No parsley. That's
No parsley, right.
Yeah, but no. So caught up on some TV shows. And then on Saturday night, me and Isaiah and Lauren, once again, we decided that we wanted to go and explore and have fun, and we went laser tagging.
Oh, I've never been laser tag.
You've never been.
Isn't that when you
laser tagging?
get? Isn't that when you? Oh, that's paintball. I have.
You've never been. We're gonna have to go paintball.
I have
Paintball
been
is
laser tag,
everything.
not paintball. I heard that stuff hurt.
No, it's not bad. Like if people follow
if somebody
directions,
shoot me, it's over. I'm done.
see, if people follow directions, you won't be done. It's absolutely a blast. It's cost money though, I will say that. And
Wow.
yes, you're actually in the woods. You're literally running around, and you're actually getting shot with paint.
Oh,
So,
my.
paintballing is really, really good. The laser tagging is a safe way of doing it. But I tell you, like the kids did, like the young kids, like 12, 13, 14, 15, that you wonder where their parents at, child, they will tire you out.
Yeah.
So we did that Saturday. It was a blast. And then Sunday, caught up on TV shows again. And that was good. Sunday was really, really good because you know how when you like catching up on shows and you just sitting there and then every show leave you like, oh.
Yeah.
And you have to start getting up out the bed and you start yelling at the TV.
Yes.
Like, look, I need to take a break. Like,
I don't do that much, but
Okay.
yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's a build up because I think it's a difference when you watch one episode and you gotta wait a week. But when you watching all this stuff,
Yeah.
once you got emotional, you getting mad,
Yeah.
you're yelling, then you like, call me back. It's not a good time right now. So, yeah. So.
You know what other thing I've done? I watched this web series that Liam Caldwell told me about.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna promote them like that or nothing, but it was you know what it is.
Okay.
I'll tell you off air. But he was telling me about a friend of his, not a friend, but I guess an associate of his, admired what his web series, but he also admires theirs. And he informed me that you don't really care for it, but I watched it. I think it's a key. So I was watching that throughout the weekend. I think
wow.
I think
Okay.
I'm on episode 8 now.
Oh, well, how many episodes do you have?
9.
Okay.
Yeah,
Keep it simple.
and it's based out of DC. So, yeah, it's based out of DC. So,
Yeah, I know. I get into the web series a couple of times. Like I guess since we started our web series.
right.
It's interesting. Some of them are interesting, and some of them just be like, really,
Mm-hmm.
really. But you know, anybody that's out there doing their crafts and they got a good thing going, I'm all for it. You know, keep striving, keep pushing for the stars. You know,
Right.
eventually that one moment will definitely come your way. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys, we hope you had a great weekend as we did, and fulfilling weekend. All right, so up next we have our Style Report, so keep it locked, more Style Chronicles in a minute with my guest co-host on this Monday.
Smack's back. Smack is back. Very quick.
Yes, because we have our guest here, we want to get right into
I'm excited.
tonight's show. All right, so our chronicle for tonight, Sean Mack,
Don't yell at me, Terrence Styles.
is, and the winner is.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Really?
I flash back to Keanu. I'm just in the wrong seat.
Yeah, you are in the wrong seat. You need to be on the other side.
I need a space.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Space.
All right, so our chronicle for tonight is, and the winner is. We have our guest in the studio. He is a founder and president. He's of Pageant World. He's a pageant coach, dancer, television personality, author. My gosh, I guess the list goes on and on.
Wow.
We have Kyle Haggard in the building.
Welcome to the Style.
Right.
What's up, fellas?
Yes. That's our live studio audience. So thank you for being here. I feel like I've insulted you.
You did.
I'm sorry. I
You
didn't.
did.
I didn't know. That's just my preference. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was going off in the corner. I was cracking up.
Let me let the world know, hold on a second. I wear pleated pants, I wear cuffs, I wear Izod polo shirts, and I put creases in my jeans. So, should I leave now or do we continue?
We can continue.
We can continue.
Sorry, I apologize.
I look great in bold colors and horrible in pastels.
You said it a moment.
I look great in bold colors and I look horrible in pastels, even though my favorite color is periwinkle blue.
Periwinkle.
Not just blue.
Not just blue.
Periwinkle.
Periwinkle blue.
Okay.
Yes.
He just educated somebody out there.
And I also like peridot green.
Didn't even know they had
Okay.
that. I missed that class of kindergarten.
I had the 88 box of Crayolas when I was in kindergarten. so-
Clearly.
That rock.
All I could afford was a 36.
I did,
Without the pistol shot.
I got the 12 pack.
I did grow up on Lake Shore in Chicago. So.
Okay.
Now I understand.
Exactly.
So Kyle, like I said, I thank you for being here on the Styyle Chronicles. I wanted to have you here. I wanted to talk about this chronicle about the pageant world.
Sure.
And I stumbled upon you a few months ago, perhaps, and I was like, oh, this would be a perfect person to reach out to see if they'd be interested to be on the show and just talk about the pageant world. And not only are you a pageant coach, but I was looking at your bio, but you also are a dancer.
I am.
And you've taught dance and gymnastics, and
I have.
so you have all that. So I'm sure your body is like Debbie Allen, like you want fame or fame cost.
Right. And I'm also a former Mr. USA and a former Mr. Black America. How about that?
Wow. he is coming up here with his resume.
Right?
He is letting you know. You forgot.
You know, back in the day they had to scroll. You just
Right.
click it and scroll down. That's it.
Right.
Like wait, all right. So wait, I gotta find out what. Man,
You
Wait a minute,
won't
and I
pay
have,
the
one,
bill
and I have
interest.
one more for you too.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
I am regional director of the World Championships of Performing Arts, which is the Olympics for performers.
Wow.
Wow.
I am. So I have the daunting task of putting together Team USA to compete internationally in Hollywood, California this summer.
Where's my resume?
Oh my gosh.
Where is my resume?
I feel like I need to just call it a night.
I say bow down and genuflect.
Right. He made me feel this little, feel this small.
Bow down, Terrence. Bow, bow. Sorry, it was there.
Don't do
Sorry.
that.
Sorry, it was there.
Kyle, how does this world of pageantry, first, I'm gonna start there first because you have you have a list of things that you've done and do. So how did the world of pageantry come into your circle of life?
Well, the one thing I like to say is that I came out of my mother's womb involved in pageantry. My mother's a former beauty queen
Are you serious?
from Central America.
So this was destined for you.
Exactly.
Wow.
And she competed internationally.
Okay.
As well as, I won't tell my mother's age, she'll disown me, but when she was mature, she actually won the Mrs. Illinois pageant and went to Mrs. United States.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, so she ran a modeling agency in Chicago as well. And I just grew up in it, so I don't know anything else. You know, so I did go to college, I got my degree, got my master's degree, and do what a man is supposed to do, put that in air quotes. But at the end of the day, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So went through the whole corporate America thing and was a regional director of sales and operations for Vanna Corporation. And one day walked into my office and my boss got on my nerves one time too many. And I told him where to go and how to get there and haven't worked for anybody since.
That's scandal.
So with that being said, I decided to do what I love to do. You know, back in 1991, I went to a seminar and the person said something, and I honestly have to say it changed my life, is that a person that makes millions of dollars is someone that does a job that they would do for free, and they have the luxury of making a living doing it. And I love what I do so much that if I was a gazillionaire, I would do it for free. I wake up in the morning looking forward to it. Now, you know, I have, you know, crazy stage moms and pageant dads. And, you know, I mean, there are challenges with any work that you do. But at the end of the day, I have a passion for it and I happen to be very good at it.
So, real quick, it's funny that you mentioned the crazy moms and the dads and things like that.
Right.
I know you always hear about the moms, but
Right.
it's very rare that you hear about the dads in the pageant world.
Correct.
So, how is that?
Well, pageant dads are, pageant dads are actually worse than pageant moms.
I was about to say
Oh,
that.
well, the main reason why is that, first of all, they think they know everything.
Okay.
And more importantly, they control the checkbook. And he who controls the
about that.
checkbook controls the flow. But being a male pageant coach, I can take that father into a room tell him where he needs to go, and I don't have to worry about anybody breaking down. That's a good thing about a pageant dad, because I can get in his face, get him together, tell him what I really think that he needs to back off, or I'm not going to coach his daughter. And he's not going to front. He's going to go, okay, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. A mother, on the other hand, it's a little bit different. You start hitting the tears and the feelings and all of that. In some cases, yeah. In some cases. But, I'm fortunate enough at this stage in my career. I've been doing this 26 years.
Okay.
And so I'm very fortunate at this point that I have my parents trained. And when I say that, I don't mean that negatively. But if you act a certain way, and conduct your business in a certain way, it's going to command a certain level of respect.
Okay.
And I respect my parents, I respect my girls. Even when they're younger, they have to take ownership of their pageantry, because at the end of the day, it's a sport.
Gotcha.
Right.
And I'm a coach. And so therefore, when I put out that type of energy, I do receive it back. So therefore, I really don't have those problems anymore, but I've had my fair share.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, so I'm going to come back to pageantry. Okay, so...
Sure.
I saw that you got your degree in psychology and you minor in dance.
I did.
So
I did.
How did the dance portion come into your life, and what made you want to minor in that?
Sure. When I was younger, I have an older brother.
Okay.
And my mother made him go to dance class for whatever reason, and he hated it. And I used to tag along because I wanted to be like my older brother, so I used to go. And I was the one that was talented, and my brother was the one that wasn't. My brother was a jock. I was the one that can sing and dance and act, and, he played football. And so I really kind of started dancing just trying to copy after him, and lo and behold, I was talented. I won my first national dance championships. I won the USA National Dance Championships in 1983, I think was my first championships. And I've won 8 consecutive after that one. Wow. So I was a competitive dancer. So I really didn't dance for the love of dancing. There's going to be a lot of dancers out there that get mad at me. I really didn't. I did it because I was good at it, and I love to compete. I've been a very competitive person. So I used it more as a sport than just for the love of dance. So when I graduated college and I won some college championships and some other things, I made an attempt to tour. So I did Cats, I did Chorus Line, I did 42nd Street and realized, I said, no, this does not work. Oh. And because dance was a sport to me, it wasn't for the art form, right? Okay. And I respect those that do it for the art form, because they have a true love of the art form of dance. I have a true love of the sport of dance.
Got it.
And it's very different.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that I did not want to be a professional dancer anymore, I decided to start coaching. Okay. Because then I can coach younger people to do what they love to do if they're a competitive dancer as well. So I do coach in competitive dance as well.
Wow. Okay, so we got the pageantry coaching, we got the dance coaching. Okay, so gymnastics. I read something about you into gymnastics. So
I did.
Where did that come in the midst of pageantry and dance?
Okay.
Because I know dance sometimes can go hand in hand with gymnastics.
It can.
So how did that come into play?
Well, I started gymnastics when I was 9, and when you're younger, I had a mother that wanted to keep me out of trouble. So I was figure skating, I was dancing, I was taking vocal lessons, I was playing the trumpet, I was in the band, every day it was something else. And, the more you do it, the better you get, and the better you get, the more expensive it becomes. And so it got to the point where my mother was like, come on, you gotta make some decisions. This going to a different lesson every night is costing a lot of money. What are we gonna do? I was a decent figure skater. I wasn't a great figure skater, so that was the first thing to go. Okay. I played some tennis in high school, but I wasn't winning Wimbledon. That just wasn't going to happen. With the gymnastics, I was actually very good at it. So we decided that I would do it in high school, do it some in college, but dance is the gift that God gave me.
Okay.
And so that's why I really pursued it. When I got to college, gymnastics was just extremely competitive, and I was good, but again, I wasn't international level, so I became a cheerleader. So I was a college cheerleader. I'm a short guy. I'm 5'7". All the guys were like apes. They were huge. My cheerleading partner and I were the same height. Okay. So needless to say, that was the best. That was kind of interesting. But yeah, so I did the gymnastics. I did enjoy it, but I was more of a tumbler than a gymnast. I was a wimp. I didn't like the rips on my hands from doing bars and that kind of thing. So that wasn't long lived.
Have you ever flown off the mat?
I have.
Wow.
And trampolines as well. It's not pleasant.
Wow.
You do it one time and then you learn what to do not to do it again.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah, I know. Take it all in. Take
right,
it
I'm
all
trying
in.
to take all of this
Take
in.
it all in.
Right.
Okay, so tell me, I'm going back. I'm kind of
Jumping around a little bit?
around a little
Okay.
bit. So you grew up in around the modeling and around the pageantry world.
Sure.
How is growing up in Chicago, Illinois? How was the modeling industry back then? And growing, I mean, because it's so different now. So how was it then compared to what it is now?
Sure. Well, actually, I paid for my first 2 years of my college education by doing modeling. Actually. But let's even go back further. When I was, again, younger, my older brother is 6 years older than I am. He is actually more model material than I am. Especially at that time, he's darker than I am, but, some would say even better looking. He was slim, but still was kind of built, and he was
taller.
And he was taller. Yeah, I mean, right now he's 6 foot tall. And again, he just didn't like it, but it was interesting because back then in the 70s, I'm now aging myself, in the 70s, when they were booking African Americans, they were going darker skinned, and I was lighter skinned. So I really wasn't what they were looking for at the time, even though I wanted it. But just like clothing, models change. As they were going for the Cindy Crawfords of the world, that had a little bit more going on, and then you have Twiggy, and so just like clothing, models change too.
Right.
So when I became a little bit older, when I got to junior high school, they were featuring lighter skinned, brown to lighter skinned African Americans in ads, and I did a lot of print work, I did a lot of commercial work, I did things for Sears Roebuck's, JCPenney's, Montgomery Ward's, Bloomingdale's.
Wait, time.
Yes.
He said Montgomery Ward.
He took it back.
Oh, I did age myself again, didn't I?
You are taking it back.
Montgomery
Wait,
Ward.
hold on. Nestle Crunch Bars.
Oh my Lord!
I
Did y'all have
did.
Ames up here?
Yeah.
Did y'all have Ames in Chicago?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That was the sales page.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So anyway, long story short, my eighth
Wow.
grade year of junior high school, I missed 83 days of school for modeling. I did. I had a tutor and the whole get up. Let me tell you,
Wow.
I used to audition against Gary Coleman. Are you all old enough to know who Gary
Yes,
Coleman is?
different
Yes,
strokes,
I used to
yes.
audition. He's from Zion, Illinois, and we used to
Wow.
audition against each other for parts all the time.
Wow.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So you probably say, oh, you again.
Right.
Right.
But what's very different then than it is now is that it seems like that the industry is much more stringent now on what they're really looking for, especially in fashion. When I was younger, if you were female, if you were 5'6", but your body was right, your runway was good, you had a look and was photogenic, you can kind of get in. My mom modeled in New York for many years. My mom is a little bit shorter than I am, but she's from Central America, exotic looks, great body, and she had a look to her, so she worked, she's even worked with Beverly Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah. So, with that being said, it's very different. Now, it doesn't matter how beautiful you are. It doesn't matter how great your body is. It doesn't matter how good your runway is. If you're not 5'7", which is the exception group, actually, if you're not 5'8", you don't get in. I'll share a cute story with you that'll give you something else to laugh about. So through my high school years, I did a lot of print work, I did a lot of television commercial work, a lot of industrial work. I did a lot of that through high school, again, which helped pay for college. So when I went to college, my mother made it very clear, you're going to a very expensive university. I'm a graduate of Drake University. That's what you need to focus on. This modeling stuff has got to go, and you can dance in school. When you get out of college, if you want to get back into it, you can. So I went to college, came back to Chicago thinking, all the agency directors are there. I was A+, Shirley Hamilton, Amelia Lawrence, Ann Geddes, David and Lee. I was with all the top agencies in Chicago.
Wow.
So I go back thinking, okay, well, please, I used to work for them all the time. Of course I'm going to get in. So I got my pictures done, made sure my body was right and, did what I needed to do. Walked through the door at one of the agencies that had been booking me since I was 9 years old. And at this point, I'm 22. And his name was Nick, and he was one of the agencies there. And I'm sitting down in front of him, and he just put his head down, and he shakes his head, and he looks at me, and he goes, Kyle, you're still very handsome. I go, thank you. He goes, your physique still looks very good. I say, thank you. He says, you're still well-spoken. I go, thank you. And I'm like, where in the heck is this going? And he goes, and how tall are you?
Ooh.
And I said, I'm 5'7". He goes, if I can get you to grow 3 to 4 more inches, then maybe we can have a conversation.
Oh!
Exactly.
Damn these tall people!
Exactly. So anyway, with that said, I did some of what I call the TD Bopper stuff. They shaved my facial hair off my face, and I did a few things, but once I turned 25, that was short-lived. And from there, what I realized is that even though I'm photogenic and I'm very good at photo posing and my runway is good and all of that, that just by the mere fact of my height that I will never really be able to work in that part of the industry.
Right.
Another thing too is that a lot of people are misinformed. You know, I work, as I said, with the World Championships of Performing Arts. They have an international modeling division. You know, so now I get to meet models from all around the world as they're competing for contracts and scholarships and all of that, and we can talk a little bit about that later. But the one thing that I realize is that most people are misinformed. You know, they look at America's Next Top Model, and they need to understand that that's only 3% of the industry.
Right.
Okay, the real money is in commercial work. You know, the real money is in promotional and trade work. That's where the real money is, where people are getting checks day by day.
Right.
You know, doing that. It's not what you see in America's Next Top Model, because if you're not of the certain size, the certain height, and the certain criteria, they're not even going to look at you. And it's not about how you're pretty, because as we all know, there's a lot of girls making millions of dollars who are not
pretty.
not pretty, not pretty.
They are not pretty.
And so when
guys too.
you know, and you know, even though I'm mostly known internationally as a pageant coach, I do a lot of modeling consultations.
Okay.
And you know, agencies and people who book people will send someone to me and go, okay, Kyle, I'm interested in this person. They need to have XYZ skills. And I train them how to get to where they need to be for whomever contracts me to train them. And what I realize is that there are so many people out there that are so talented and so beautiful, have so many things going on, but just because of particular qualifications that certain agencies have, that they'll never have the opportunity. And I used to feel a certain kind of way about it, but when I look at the performing arts industry, you know, when you look at male dancers are not 6'1" in most cases.
They're not.
You know, it just doesn't happen. And so when I look at it from that vantage point, I kind of relax off of it. But I used to get into my feelings about it, because I would say, well, hold on a second. I'm just as good looking. My body's just as good. I speak better and I project better. But he's 5'11" and I'm 5'7".
Right.
And so therefore he's going to get the opportunity and I don't.
I can so relate.
That's funny
Right.
that you actually said it real quick about the you know, short dancers.
Sure.
But they dance tall.
Right.
And I mean, that's where their advantage point is. And they
Absolutely.
dance with passion.
Mhm.
That is one thing I really have noticed with a lot of, you know,
Right.
shorter dancers,
Mhm.
is that they do a lot more, and they are.
Because they have a lot more to prove.
Exactly.
They have a lot more to
Exactly.
prove. They have to, you think I'm short? Okay, well watch my limbs.
Right.
My limbs gonna be like I'm 6'1".
And I love it. I love it, because those are the ones that you can really tell a story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree.
Okay, speaking of dance, what is your thoughts on So You Think You Can Dance? You have all these young people who are
Right.
who I think they're about to come up on their like 10th or 11th season or something of that
Absolutely.
sort. How do you feel about that show and how it's, you know, how it's helped a lot of, you know, people who are inspired to be dancers?
Oh, sure. Well, you know, the whole reality TV show market, which as you know, I've done a lot of that, and the television competition shows really have accelerated people a lot quicker than when I did Star Search, Junior Star Search, back in the day. Are you old enough to know
Wow.
that?
Old enough to
Okay,
know.
back in the day, but we're gonna leave that.
He's really dating me now. I remember, I watched all of that.
All of y'all.
so we're
Young.
we're gonna let that go. But you know, I really get excited about these shows because someone who may come from a small town or whose parent don't have a lot of money but they have God-given talent that comes from within now gets an opportunity.
Yeah.
When I watch it, I sit back and go, when I was at my very best, I never danced that good. You know, and so even the criterias are good. I mean, let's just even look at figure skating. You know, someone do a double axel or a triple lutz, that was good. You
Yeah.
have guys doing quadruple toe loops now.
Yeah, they took it. They didn't step it up.
They have stepped it up, and so now, you know, I'm looking at these, you know, heel stretch extensions, you know, triple turns into, you know, Sinead turn leaps, you know, going right into attitude, you know, jumps. I mean, it's just incredible the combination that these dancers are doing, you know, where it's more really about the athleticism. That is something that's different. When I look at So You Think You Can Dance, it has become much more athletic and a little bit less artistic at this point.
Okay.
It is a little bit more about the tricks. Now, before I get every dancer out there mad at me, you know, you gotta have,
That's 2 times now.
right, exactly, twice already, is that you gotta have the technique to do the tricks.
I agree.
You gotta have the tricks that we needed to have. And working in the pageant industry, when I work with dancers, I tell them, half of the judges panel is not gonna know a plie from a relevé to a jeté to a coupe. They're not gonna know it.
Did he just call? What did he just call?
Something about your pedal.
Okay.
I know, right?
But at the end of the day, these are the tricks that you need to have You need to have your skills, you need to have your extensions, you need to have your triple pirouettes, you need to have your forte turns. These are things that are universal, that even if a person don't know anything about dance, when they look at it, they know what it is.
Right.
You know, and so dancing now, which is very different than when I was dancing and more actively, is a little bit less about the art form, it's more about tricks and athleticism, but it doesn't make it any less entertaining or any less hard, or it actually takes more dedication because the standards are a lot higher.
Alrighty then.
Wow.
I need to absorb all of this information.
Yeah,
I'm
I
back,
think
so
even the audience.
we're right. So listeners, we're gonna take a music break. When we come back, hopefully I've absorbed a lot what Kyle just told me.
Stretch.
And then and then we can move forward with either the questions and things.
Think
so I
tall.
get full of right. I'm gonna think tall while
Think
we're on our
tall.
music break.
You are a winner.
I am. More Style Chronicles in a minute. Don't go nowhere. Glad you were just tuning in to the Style Chronicles. Where the hell you been at? I'm just saying.
I love that.
Where the hell you been?
They want a delay.
Right. Clearly, we had our weekend recap. We had the style report. We had the fashion bomb with
Yes.
Lashley, and we were talking before with the music break with Kyle Haggerty and Haggerty, and he was just, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm still full, even though we had the music break and.
It's a nice dinner. Yeah, you're right.
But even afterwards, we were conversing, and he was, talking about me and doing the radio thing and all that good stuff.
Have a cocktail, it'll be okay.
Right, and talking about the radio thing and this and that and the third, and so it's just, this is the 4th season of the Style Chronicles, for those that don't know, and I'm very blessed to be able to be here and provide so many chronicles over the 4 years, and it's been a blessing for me because I'm able to not only do this, but I'm learning at the same time because I'm going to school for it. So it's just like getting what I learned and applying it to here, and even taking it when when this chapter of my life is over. Right. It's been overwhelming, but in a good way. And I've met so many people through this show, and so just having this opportunity is great. And April and Frank for allowing me to have this show. And starting with Kiani and her moving on, and I'm really excited. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was talking to Kyle off air about my next chapter. He's asking me what I want to do in the next 5 years, and I want to move on to other things that are just going to satisfy me at the end of the day. And kind of piggybacking off of Kyle and all of his endeavors. Oh my gosh! And I kind of want to do that. I don't want to do as 10 million things as he's done.
No flipping,
but no flipping, no,
gymnastics.
right. Plus, I'm older now, so I can't do all that type of stuff.
Sure
but
you can.
There you go.
I'll
Speak
teach
on
you.
it.
I'll teach you. I will teach you.
I don't know if I want to break bones at this moment in my life. But just move on to other things that I have passion for.
Hold on, I gotta say this. So that's the name of the show. So you think you old? That's how you think you did. So you think you old? Really, Sean, really. Hey, you got
See
it.
if you be back next month.
Wow.
See
Let me check my schedule.
I'll join you.
Oh my. Okay.
I like that. See, exactly. That's another thing he can add to his resume.
Right. No, you have enough. Absolutely. You have enough.
Absolutely.
You have enough
Right,
stuff to add to your resume. Enough.
It's probably some stuff he still haven't told us yet.
Right. Exactly.
I love it though. But one thing I have to say, definitely sitting here and talking to you, Kyle. It's an inspiration.
Thank you.
Because I think a lot of people always feel as if that somebody has to get them started, or somebody has to be my inspiration, or somebody has to, push me and make me go out here and do something. But it's very rare that you have kids these days that are into stuff. And I'm gonna say stuff because it's not just one thing that you were talented in. You was talented in multiple things. So you was committed that you was gonna go out here and do it. And you've not only done it, but you've succeeded in it. And it's not too many people that love doing what they do on an everyday basis. So I commend that and I respect that.
Well, I feel sad for people that have to get up in the morning and go to a job that they don't like.
Yeah.
And when I worked in sales and operations, I didn't hate it. I actually liked what I was doing, but it wasn't my passion. But I want to comment on something that you just said that I tell people all the time, is that if you're waiting to live your dream, you're going to keep waiting. You're going to keep waiting.
Right.
You're going to keep waiting.
Wow.
I knew from the age of 13 that I wanted to be a pageant coach, performing arts consultant. I didn't know the words at the time, but I knew this is what I wanted to do. And when I decided to do it, I just did it. I didn't have a whole lot of money in the bank. I didn't have a whole lot of support. You know, my mother who, you know, funded my talent, you know, and all my experience, I don't want to say she wasn't supportive, but, you know, she's from Central America, and a man is supposed to get up, go to work, 9 to 5, get that check every 2 weeks, and take care of a family. And I was having none of it. You know, and so I am living my dream, but you know, it comes at a sacrifice.
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, the advice that I give to people all the time, if you're waiting for the right time, if you're waiting for the right person, if you're waiting for a certain amount of money, it will never happen. It's either you make the choice and commitment to live your dream, or you'll just keep dreaming and stop living. That's how I look at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, quick question for you. I know
Sure.
that you said that your mother was into modeling, the pageant world as well.
Sure.
How, what was her response to you when she found out that's something that you wanted, the field that you wanted to get into, the
Sure.
pageant world?
Well, actually, it's her fault.
Blame mom.
Actually, it's her fault. My mom was a pageant director for many, many years, and she directed a pageant called Miss Windy City in Chicago, and it was absolutely huge. She did it for 24 years. And I went from, you know, looking at hotels and interviewing girls with her to eventually choreographing her pageant at 16 to actually directing it by the time I was 20, you know, with her being the owner. And so I was a little surprised when I told her this is what I wanted to do, and she's like, well, you just don't want to get a job. You want to hang around 3 girls all day and think you're going to make some money. Take your butt to school, get an education, and get a job.
Right.
You know, and it was like that, and, you know, I can comfortably say that it probably wasn't until maybe 8 years ago, believe it or not, that, you know, my mom was still lecturing me a little bit. Well, I can tell you exactly when. During the crash of 2008. When the market crashed. And remember, I make my living based on people's discretionary money.
Right.
Okay? People don't have to have a pageant coach.
Yeah.
They don't have to have
No,
a
they
performing
don't.
arts consultant. They don't have to have it. They
That's
can
a
do
luxury.
it. Now,
Yeah.
they'll be boogered and don't know what they're doing. You know, but at the end of the day, they can do what they want to do. And that was one of the hardest times of my life, both emotionally and financially. And I stuck it out, you know? And my mother and I got into a huge argument. Okay, Kyle, you've proven your point. You're the best at what you do. You got to take care of yourself. Go and do this. And I just cried because I'm like, you don't believe in me. You know, that's how I felt. I knew it wasn't true.
Right.
But that's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. And I said to her, this is my love, this is my passion. And I said, and it's because of you. I said, I have my dream because you gave up your dream for me to have my dream. And I'm gonna try not to cry when I talk about this because I always cry when I talk about it. You know, my mom gave up her career in the pageant and modeling world to, you know, be an executive at a bank, to pay for me to go to a very expensive private school, to get my education, for me to have the training and the talents that I do so I can live my dream.
Right.
You know, and so I feel that if I did not pursue it and tough it out, then her work would have gone for naught.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, that was highly unacceptable. So now, you know, she's my biggest fan. You know, she supports me, and now I have her work for me on projects. So, so
Yes, mom. You can go home.
right? You know,
Your work is done.
right? And, you know,
I said good day, Mom. Good day.
and to
Have
tell
a
you,
skillet.
and to tell you how fierce that I'm trying to be, you know, like I said, I'm with the World Championship of Performing Arts. I'm now regional director. I have the hopes of being national director next year for the United States. You know, my mom being from Central America, I gave her the opportunity, or I introduced her to the organization, and she's now the national director of Belize, which is the country in which she's from. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm a first generation American, so I consider myself a Belizean American. But you know, now I'm able to give back to her now that she's retired and have her enjoy the fruits of her labor.
That's good.
You know, so you know, I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
That's what's up. This is kind of like going around full
It
circle.
is full
Yeah.
circle. It is full circle.
Wow. So, okay, so there's a whole brew of young people coming into this modeling, pageantry, gymnastics, dance. There's a whole
For sure.
slew. So how do you mold these women and young men?
Yes.
You know, to be the best that they can be in all of this entertainment, because it's all entertainment.
Yes.
This whole entertainment industry.
Sure. Well, regardless if it's pageants, if it's modeling, if it's performing arts, regardless of what it is, the most important thing that needs to happen from the very beginning, actually two things. One, you have to have a reality check of what your real skills are.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm sure in your line of industry you see, they think they are the bomb. They think they're everything, and at the end of the day, they're not.
No, they're
Okay,
not.
so So they need a reality check. That's the first thing. Because once you have a reality check, and I do what I call an assessment or an initial consultation, then we lay the groundwork and keeping it real. This is what you're good at, this is what you're not good at, and then we build from there to make the person to what they want to be. That's the first thing.
Okay.
The second thing is that you need to know where you're going. You do need to set a goal. When I sit down with a girl for pageantry, I ask her, are we doing this to make girlfriends? Are we doing this because we want to get in the entertainment industry? Or do we want to be Miss America? Or do we want to be Miss United States? You know, I have a former Miss America on my resume. I have 4 Miss United States title holders on my resume. You know, when I sat down with Carissa Cameron when she was 18 years old, 4 years before she won Miss America, I asked her, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And she made no bones about it. I'm going to be Miss America.
No.
Wow.
She made no bones about it. Now, I'll say this about her. She was already Miss America before I met her. What I did is I expedited the process and made sure that it happened.
So that was already in her future.
It was already in her future, and I saw it, when I didn't even know her singing on a stage at 18 years old. I had no idea who this girl was. So the way that I mold them is A, reality check, B, setting a goal, and it's everything in between that matters. I tell parents, another thing too, I'm about to get on my little soapbox here, be realistic about your investment. Don't ask for $1 million competition package and you make minimum wage at Walmart. And there's no shame making minimum wage at Walmart.
Right.
But, you got to put food on the table and take care of your kids first.
Right.
Okay, and so you have to look at that realistically, because with that being said, I have clients that are very wealthy. And I have clients that, pick up a second job to pay for their daughter or son's pageantry or talent competitions, so I have the extreme.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you are realistic, if you plan right and prepare, anyone can be successful. Because I also have parents that, because they make a lot of money, they feel that if they throw money at it, that their kid will win. And that's also not true, as well. If a girl is doing pageant to have swimsuit competition, are you eating right? Mm-hmm. Are you following your program? Are you going to the gym? Are you doing what you need to do? I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care how good your modeling is. And I don't care how much money you have. If your body is not right, and if there's swimsuit competition, you're going to be in the prayer line, period. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't want to hear that. That's part of that reality check,
Yes.
that I'm talking about. If you want to do the Miss America pageant, 35% of Miss America is talent.
Yeah.
Okay? If you cannot put one foot in front of the other, put a noun, a verb, and an adjective in the right order, okay? Or sing your way out of a paper bag, why are you going to go to Miss America? Which brings me to another thing that I do. When someone sits in front of me and they want to be a talent winner, or, there are male pageants now, so kings or beauty pageant queens, if they don't have certain attributes, then they can still have their dream, but they may need to have it in a different arena.
Oh.
Okay? I have a young lady now. This girl is brilliant, okay? Got like a perfect score on the SATs. I mean, this girl is just brilliant, okay? And she is a pretty girl, but she doesn't have the commitment to get her body in order, which is the story of my life, But she wants to do Miss USA, she wants to do Miss United States, she wants to do Miss America. They all have swimsuit in it. And so I'm beating this girl over the head, unless you're willing to do that, these are the pageants that you need to do that do not have swimsuit. And that's a fight that I have to fight every day. But if I don't do it, I'm doing a misservice to my clients. Okay, because at the end of the day, my goal is for them to be successful.
Right.
Okay, and the last thing that I want to say is that I ask every person, male, female, adult, child, this, what do you want to win? Because I believe that anyone can win anything if you're willing to do what it takes to get it. And let me be very clear on that. If I have a girl that's 5'7", 200 pounds, bad hair, bad skin, and not good features, and she tells me she wants to be Miss USA, I'm not going to tell her she can't be Miss USA. I'm going to have a conversation with her. Are you willing to get a nose job? Are you willing to get a boob job? Are you willing to get liposuction? Are you willing to get hair extensions? Are you willing to tan? Are you willing to get a microdermabrasion? Are you willing to go to dance class? Are you willing to do these things to achieve that goal? Okay? Are you willing to do it? And if you're not, get a new hobby. But if you are, let's get to work. And I feel very much that way. People get angry when I say that because they say, well, you're advocating cosmetic surgery. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But if I have a girl that's, let's just say, not visually advantageous, I guess that's the political way I can say it, I'm not going to tell her she can't achieve her dreams.
Right.
I'm going to ask her, are you willing to do what it takes to get it?
Right.
And if that means, cosmetic surgery, going to the gym, eating a certain way, hair extensions, buying a certain amount of clothing or whatever, then that family needs to make that decision, because I'm not going to coach someone that's not real about their objectives. I just won't do it.
Now, quick question. Because you deal with a lot of different ages,
I
and
do.
things like that,
I do.
How was it when you actually had to start being honest to different people, like basically being straight up honest with them, like you are in right now?
Especially when they're young.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I know it's easier to kind of like say it to a parent,
Right.
but then to kind of break this down to maybe like a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old,
Or a
5-year-old that really like, I want to be Miss America.
Right.
How was it? And how did you get to the point where you felt comfortable
Oh, sure.
as an adult with talking to a child and basically breaking it down where they understand it, but being honest with yourself and being honest with them and the parent?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm always honest. To
Okay.
a fault. I'm never disrespectful. I always respect everyone, but I'm always truthful, because I feel when you're not truthful, you're not respecting them.
Right.
So I do feel that. When they're under the age of 13, I don't judge their worth as far as competing in the majors.
Okay.
The Miss America, Miss Universe, Miss USA, Miss World, that kind of thing. Because when they're under 13, they haven't developed yet, their body haven't started shaping yet. So I'm looking at some natural skills, okay? So if I have a 6-year-old that says that one day I want to be Miss America, I'm going to go, okay, sweetheart, let's do that. And I'm putting her in pageants just for her to get stage time.
Okay.
And putting her in her dance class or singing class or whatever. Because really between the ages of 14 and under, I look at that as skill development. So I don't have to really have that tough conversation. Now, when we start talking about the glitz pageants, which is more the toddlers and tiaras kind of thing, which I know we're going to touch a little bit on, that's a different conversation, and we can address that. Because at a young age, we have to address those things in those style of pageants. Okay, so we'll get back to that, okay? But in more of the, let's say, national mainstream pageants, I don't have to deal with that until they become preteens.
Okay.
When they are a preteen, to answer your question directly, if I have a girl, let's say, who has a nose issue, and I'm just being honest, I'm not being shady when I say this, but at the end of the day, the proportions of her face, she has a larger nose. I have a conversation with the parent first. Okay? And I say, look, your daughter's competing in this pageant and she's getting this, and this is what her scores are reading. This is what I think that's happening from her physical attributes. I say this to the parent, and the parents know me well enough to know I'm not being mean and I'm not being judgmental. It's a sport.
Right.
Okay, it's a sport, and I am your coach. And some parents will say to me, well, we thought when she got older that we may have her get breast augmentation or get a nose job or get whatever needs to be done. And so if the parent's like, well, we were going to talk to you about it when she gets older, then I know it's on the horizon. Okay, so at this point, the girl doesn't quite know it yet, but we work towards that, because when she turns 16, 17, when she has the maturity. But as we all know, girls can be cruel to each other. A girl knows if she has some physical attributes that are not good. So it's not like she doesn't know.
Because another girl can point it out.
Okay?
Exactly. Why your breast ain't developed yet?
Exactly.
Now, if the young lady is 17 or older, I sit down with her, and at that point, I wait until they develop some level of trust. Because in many cases, I know things about these girls that their parents don't know. I'm not going to judge them.
Right.
I'm not going to judge. If they're having a bad rehearsal, I can look at them and go, okay, what did your boyfriend do today? And I'll tell you this, when they cut their hair, they have broken up with their boyfriend. That is a standard. Girls, when they break up with their boyfriend, they will cut their hair, and then I would tell them I will not coach them until they grow it back or get extensions.
Wow.
I don't mess around. People think that I'm kidding when I say that. I do not mess around. If one of my girls cut her hair and she don't talk to me first, oh, that's unacceptable.
So
have
basically with any type of major changes,
gotta know it.
You gotta know it.
Gotta know it. And here's the thing. I don't tell a girl she can't cut her hair. But you all work in fashion, so you'll understand this. If a girl decides that she wants to do a bob haircut or do a page boy or do a crop, that means her whole competition wardrobe needs to change at that point. Okay, because all hairstyles don't read the same. Right. And then we got to make changes in makeup, working in fashion, that.
Yeah, that's true.
When and I tell my girls, when you're working with a modeling agency, whatever's on your comp card,
that's what they want.
That's what it is. And when you go to your audition, if you decide to put purple in your hair because you want to be cute,
you got black hair. What's the purple color?
Right. If you want to put a streak in your hair, that's okay.
Or if you got you on your comp card, you have your hair is straightened and you got braids in. I'm like, wait.
Exactly.
But Leticia, its color is in.
Okay.
You know, we don't.
I understand that, but when you audition,
Right, right,
whatever's on that
Do that.
card needs to be there. So, you know, but here's the thing, I can't say when I started,
Okay.
because I've always been that way.
Okay.
Okay, but it's a time and place for everything.
Right.
And I also take into respect the maturity of the person. And also when I coach, I make it very clear. We all have a job to do. When I sit down with a parent, okay? I tell the parent, you have 2 jobs. You cheerlead and you pay me.
Sure.
That is your job.
I know that's right.
Okay? I make sure that the package is right. I make sure that she's trained. And I have people that work for me, you know, that helps in this process. Wardrobe, hair, makeup, fitness, modeling. You know, I have the whole team, you know, that do that. So my job is to make sure that she has the tools and she has to go out and execute it. And if that relationship falls short, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Right, exactly.
Does it ever come back and fall on you?
I was just about to ask that.
In what respects do you mean?
Like if sometimes, okay, like you just said, she has to execute it.
Absolutely.
But sometimes the parent or that particular female or male
Right.
blames you, but they don't take responsibility.
They don't take ownership.
Right.
I will say to the girl, at the end of the day, you gotta wear it. I never make a girl wear something she doesn't want to wear. And I will say to this young lady, this is why this gown is not going to work for you. This is how it reads from 5 feet away, but a judge's perspective is 20 feet away. We step it back 20 feet, it looks entirely different. This is how it walks. This is how it stands. This is what's happening with your hair and makeup, and this is what's going on with your complexion. I do the whole get up and go. And I look to the mother or the father and I go, now, do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, Mr. Haggerty, I do. Okay. So if we buy this gown and she gets, you know, first, second runner-up or don't place, you now understand what the problem is. I have spoken my piece. All right?
Yes.
Now, I've had a situation before, and I'm going to say her name because she knows I tell this. Caitlin, this one's for you. I trained her to do a talent song, okay? And we had it down the whole get up and go. So we get to the pageant. She texts me. She goes, Kyle, meet me in the lobby. I meet her in the lobby, and she goes, oh, I just want to let you know I changed my song.
The day of?
Day up, no.
No,
In
seconds.
the lobby.
Oh, seconds.
Okay, the pageant started at 7, this was like at 6.
Oh.
So she comes out with her little rollers in her hair and her little robe or everything. She goes, meet me out in the lobby. And so I go to the corner in the lobby and I go, yeah, Caitlin, what's going on? She knows I tell this story, so I'm not talking out of school. And I go, yeah. And she says, I just want to let you know I'm changing my song. I'm sorry, we practiced the song 2 days ago. What are you talking about? Well, I got to rehearsal and I wasn't feeling it, so I'm singing this. And I go, have you ever sang it before? Oh, I did it once or twice last night and I really like it, so I'm going to sing it. And let me be clear, this girl is nobody's singer. She's a gown winner, a swimsuit winner, and an interview winner. This girl is gorgeous with phenomenal clothes, a great body, and can talk to President Obama. This girl is no joke. Talent, on the other hand, problem. And that's why I panicked. Now, my girl that won Miss America, that sings like Beyonce, she could sing, you know, Happy Birthday and win a Grammy, you know. But this girl can't do that. So I sat in the audience and went, Lord Jesus, this girl is about to make a fool of herself.
Do you do the chair down? You go down low?
Yeah, I kind of go like this.
Oh no,
Okay.
that's my client. That's my client. That's my client.
Exactly. And of course, the world knows that I coach this girl.
Oh, that's
The world knows I coach this girl.
So our eyes are on you, even if they're not on you.
Absolutely. So anyway, long story short, she went out there, sang the song, and again, she's nobody's singer, but it was quite good. It was quite good. And she got first runner-up in this pageant, which for her, you know, she's the type that would win swimsuit, evening gown, and interview, and because her talent's so bad, would get second or third runner-up, because her talent's not there. So she actually got first runner-up, and it was very good. So in essence, I ate a little bit of crow. And that's another thing. In my profession, sometimes you got to let these girls be who they are. Well, I believe you always should let them be who they are. But sometimes they need to make their own decisions. And sometimes I would tell a parent, you all are making these decisions. That's on you. And so I don't have that backlash anymore because I'm quick to pull emails and print text messages. I'm quick to do it.
I hear that.
You know, so I don't have that issue anymore, to answer your question directly.
Gotcha.
So, real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. With that being said, how often does that happen? At the last minute, somebody will change something. I'm
Rare.
just curious.
Well, for me, it's rare
Okay.
because I don't have a problem with firing my clients. I don't have a problem doing it. I rarely have to do it, and I have the reputation of, you know, if you don't do right, I'll drop you. I did a TV show for MTV probably 2 years ago, and I had a young lady, you know, do something that I didn't like. You know, a lot of people think that reality TV show is not real. depending on the show, it is real. I know when I did it, it was real, and this girl did something that I did not like. And when I called her everything but the child of God by the time I got done with her. And it was on TV. And the cameras were right there rolling, and I didn't care. You know, because this girl didn't do right. So when it came on TV, and you know, in this day of social media, everyone go, oh my gosh, you know, why did Kyle chew out that girl like that? And people came online and go, well, if you know Kyle, that was him. You know, I didn't disrespect the girl or call her out her name, but at the end of the day, she didn't do right.
Right.
You know, and I don't think twice about it. And so because people know that I'm true to my word, and they know that I honestly care, I do. I care about their well-being. I don't care if they win a crown. You know, as a coach, I'm all about the win. But when I look at them as young girls and young boys, you know, young individuals, I care about their growth. And I want them to walk away from it feeling good. So.
All right, people. We're gonna talk more with Kyle after the music break. It's getting juicy, so keep a lot more Style Chronicles in the mix. So Kyle, how tell us about your feelings on the reality shows, the Toddlers and Tiaras, and the dance moves. Abby.
Yeah, let me start with Abby. I think she's very good at what she does. She knows what she's looking at, and at the end of the day, she cranks out winners. I don't care what type of attitude she has. You know, the dance world is a brutal world. You know, when you are done competing as a kid and you start auditioning in LA, you know, if you're doing videos, or New York if you're doing Broadway, or Chicago if you're doing trade or promotional work, you know, that kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's yes or no. And a lot of times, so they will pick someone who is not as good as you just because they have a certain look or a certain demographic that they're looking for. And so the one thing that I like about her is she represents the reality of the industry. And some people say that she's mean or disrespectful or not tactful. At the end of the day, she cranks out winners. And for me, just watching it, and in many ways doing what she does, but in a different industry, I respect it. You know, I'm not as, let's say, vivacious as she is as far as breaking it down in the fashion that she does, but she gets the results. And so the thing I like is that when you go to her, you know what you're getting. And so if you can't handle it, don't go. You know, I tell people about that with me. You know, people say to me, well, you know, Kyle thinks his girls are better than everybody else. Well, in most cases, they are. You know, and if you don't like my attitude or the way that I bring it to the table, my favorite line is, check the resume. That is my favorite line.
Speak on it.
When in doubt, check the resume. You like the resume, then that means you got to deal with everything that comes with it. So that's kind of where I am with dance moms.
But I'm real quick, just a comment, and then you can get back.
Okay.
Sure.
But no, I like the fact that with you just saying all that,
Right.
the one thing that you said early on is you produce winners.
I do.
That's why your resume speaks for yourself.
Right.
You produce
Correct.
winners.
I do.
My thing, one of my things with Abby Miller is that how do you feel about her when she's talking to the children about, like, the child saying, well, my mom said I had to study, and then she's going off at the child about what her mom told her that what she needed to do because that's her mom. Because she goes on the kids like she goes on them like you need to tell your mother this, but that's just going to turn around and disrespecting your parent, okay? Because they're the parent and then they're still the child. Okay. So what are your feelings on when she does that? Because when she does that, that's like for me like nails going down a chalkboard. Because you know back in the day if we did that saying, well, Miss Abby Miller said that I need to be doing my or whatever, your parent gonna look at you like, well, Miss Abby can go kick rocks because I'm your mother. Right. Like how do you feel about that?
But real quick, you don't think that that's more so for like the camera and that's another thing I guess.
I mean it could be, but at the same token to me. I don't know, because it's happened too many times. I've seen it too many times. I'm like, once, okay, maybe twice. But you doing this season after season and getting down these kids' throats about what their mom told them what they need to be doing. Because that's their parent. You're not home with them. You're not taking care of them.
You got a point.
And then they're paying you to do this. So what are your thoughts about?
Well, at its core, I don't think that it's right. You know, at the end of the day, school comes before anything else, you know, because their school is their job, and it comes before anything else. So obviously I don't agree when she does that, but I want to touch on something that you said, is that, you know, I've done a lot of reality TV. I've done a lot of it, okay? And I'm fortunate enough to say, I can say from experience, that the majority of it is reality, and in my case, all of it, but again, it is an industry, and a lot of times situations are set up without you knowing it. To create a certain thing. I won't name the show, but I can give an example of it. A couple of years ago, well, I'll say who started and then you'll know the show, but anyway. I did a show with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie a couple of years ago, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I flew out to LA, you know, did the whole get up and go, all of that, it was great. And I'll just say this much about Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. Who you think they are and what they really are not necessarily the same thing, but that's a different show.
Right.
But anyway, the promotion for the show started coming out the week of the show. And the promotion said, I'm trying to make a long story short, they had one of the young girls flip the bird on camera, okay? And so this young girl flipped the bird on camera, and then they cut to a scene of one of the mothers says, why would he teach my daughter to flip the bird?
Oh, so make it seem like you took it.
Correct.
Yes, editing.
Correct, okay? Now, in my contract, I could not talk about the show. So you go on all the message boards, and this was, you know, like, I don't want to say pre-Facebook, but Facebook wasn't then what it is today. You know, so these were like message boards.
Right.
You go on the message boards, you know, that doggone Kyle Haggerty, I knew he was no good, and this, that, and the other, and I wouldn't let him touch my daughter with a 10-foot pole, and la-da-da-da-da. And then some of my top clients are calling me going, Kyle, if you're doing that on TV, I can't have you coach my daughter. And based on my contract, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say anything. And so the only thing that I can say is please watch the show. Please watch the show. Praying that they did not edit it totally incorrect, even though I did find out from my attorney, because I immediately called my attorney, is that if it was slanderous, I would have a case. So my attorney said they probably did it for promotion, but it would not have read like that on the show. We'll see. So I had to go through 4 days of being beaten up online and with my clients because they're thinking that I'm teaching a 6-year-old girl to flip the bird on national TV. Well, the show comes on, and of course I'm sitting there with my heart in my throat, and come to find out it was the stars of the show that had the girls do that, you know, and it came out in the show, and of course I get all of these apologies, and my attitude is stop. You should have never thought I would do that to begin with.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
If they really know you,
If they
should
know
have
me.
Look at my resume.
Exactly. Right. Check the
Right.
resume.
Check the resume.
Right.
Exactly. You know, but here's the thing is that what happened in the show actually happened. The sequence of events actually happened on the different shows that I've done. But sometimes what they would do is they would set something up. I'll give one more quick example and we'll move on. Is that I was doing a show and I was setting up a training session for one of the girls, okay? I'm telling the short end of a long story. Well, what the show decided, and I won't even say what show it was, but what the show decided not to tell me is that this girl had another practice in school that she was required to go to, and if she didn't go to it, she would not get a grade and participate for this big event that she had to do for school. And so they scheduled it for her practice at school to be the same time as my training with her on camera.
Wow.
And so what happened is that I had this girl picked up to meet me for her to tell me, oh, Mr. Kyle, I can't stay. I have to go to XYZ rehearsal. I'm out of here. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not going to waste my time like that. And she pretty much told me where to go and how to get there. And so I told her, done. No more to talk about. So I dropped her. And let me tell you, MTV had to talk me into, I shouldn't have said MTV, but anyway, MTV, okay.
I needed that.
I love him because he just be spilling it.
Right? I don't mean to.
Okay, but anyway, MTV, you know, pretty much was like,
Kong Pot Shop?
you know, Kyle, you need, well, I'm telling the truth, so it's not like I can get sued, but I'm telling the truth, you know, and since we're putting it out there, Diana, I love you, okay?
Yes,
That's Diana. Dirty Diana.
Did you just say dirty Diana?
Michael Jackson, Dirty Diana.
So long story short, you know, we worked out what we needed to work out and so on and all of that. But I say that to mean, in closing with this whole reality TV show thing, is that, and we'll talk about toddlers and tiaras too, is that it's not fake, but because it is TV, sometimes situations are set up beyond the knowledge of the people participating that creates certain reactions. Okay, so let me just put it out there like that. With toddlers and tiaras, that is a whole different realm of pageantry.
Okay.
Okay, it is a multi-million-dollar sport.
Wow.
There are girls who are called circuit girls. You know how you have young boys that they go to a Little League game every week. You know, they play a different game. There are girls that do a different glitz pageant. Toddler and tiaras is referred to as glitz pageants. Okay. Which is a different breed of pageants. Okay. And it's the big hair, all the makeup. You know, you could be 5 years old with pop red lipstick, big hair. And there are people that have problems with that. And let me be clear, I do not. I used to coach in that industry.
I was about to ask you that.
I did. And when I tell you the money is just incredible, but when it puts you in the hospital, it's time to give it up. Again, a different show, okay? So
that's 4 different shows right
and
now.
4 different shows right
If you're
now.
counting.
If you've been listening since the beginning.
This is
That's
the
a
beginning
whole
of a
bunch
different
of
show.
Chronicles.
But what I always say is that in whatever sport you do, and again, I consider pageants to be a sport. In any sport that you do, you've got to put on the uniform. Okay? And in glitz pageant, the uniform is the tease hair, the extensions, the lipstick, the eyelashes. If they are missing teeth, you put the teeth flippers in. You do all of it. You're competing in that style of pageant. So if you want to be competitive, then you put on the uniform, you get the training, and you do what you need to do. Period. And so when people say, well, they have her looking like she's 25 years old, okay. And when she goes home, she's gonna wash that stuff off her face and play in the dirt like every other 5-year-old girl.
Look at Honey Boo Boo.
Okay, exactly.
Anywho.
So there you go.
I have 2 more things before we wrap up the show.
Sure.
First thing is, what are your thoughts on the now 6 seasons of RuPaul Drag Race? That's so
Okay.
What is your thoughts on that?
So
side of pageantry?
surprisingly, and I coach in that side of pageantry.
I was about to ask
as well.
those.
I
Okay.
do. I do coach in the
Another
female,
resume.
the female impersonation
Another show.
industry.
Sure.
The one thing that makes RuPaul Drag Race very interesting in the realm of female impersonation pageantry, which is also a multi-million-dollar industry, is that they are men that dress as women. Okay? Many of the national and international female impersonation pageants, you have female impersonators who are men that dress as women compete against those that are transgendered, which means that at the top they are women and in between they are men. Okay? They're transgender. So they have not been reassigned sexually.
Right.
Okay? And at the end of the day, you know, when I look at RuPaul's Drag Race, to me, I kind of chuckle because I've worked with girls who are transgender. So it's a whole different level of beauty. And so what the challenge is in that industry is that when you have a man that decides that he wants to take hormones and get breast augmentation and get silicone in his hips and these different things to look like a woman, and let me tell you, I have girls that I have worked with that they can have on absolutely no makeup and you could be 2 feet away from them and you would never know they were born a man.
Wow.
Okay, and so now, because you have that type of contestant in that industry competing against drag queens who are boys that wear skirts, you know, you have your own hierarchy of who's beautiful and who's not. And so it makes it, so when I look at it, it's a little bit harder for me to appreciate the artistry of female impersonation because I deal with a lot of women who are transgendered, who don't really have to try as hard.
Right.
I do think there's a place for it. I don't watch the show that often because I'm always traveling, but I think that it maintains the female impersonation market because it's getting to the point now that when young guys who want to do well in that industry are starting to feel that they have to get all this cosmetic stuff done to themselves and things that you cannot reverse. Done to them in order to be successful. And the one thing I like about RuPaul Drag Race is that it shows that you can be RuPaul, who's a handsome man, can be an absolutely gorgeous woman. And so it maintains the foundation of female impersonation, especially in pageantry. So that's why.
Well, real quick,
applaud
one thing I like about RuPaul's Drag Race is that I noticed that a lot of straight men actually watch it along with their, like, you know, significant others. And it's amazing because they really try to say they don't get into it, but then a lot of them really get into it and like they look at it as, wow, you know, I never knew this. So it's actually opening up a lot of doors, which is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Well, like when people go to Vegas and they go to La Cage, you know, it's the same thing.
My last question before we close out. What, now this pageantry, especially pageantry, is mostly about women. What about guys? Is it categories or is there a lane for, you know, guys that want to get into pageantry rather than be straight or gay or what have you?
Well, you know, the gay pageant arena for men is highly more competitive than the straight arena.
I can imagine.
But okay, I've competed in both.
Okay.
Okay, so I know them both, and I've won in both.
personally have?
I personally have.
Okay.
I've won in both.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And in the straight pageant arena for men, it used to be, you know, you have a nice body, you go out there, you present yourself very similar to the women.
Okay.
Okay. Now it is much more model oriented. So, you know, now, for example, one of the big ones is called Manhunt International.
Okay.
You know, you have to be
You have to be
5'10".
Right.
It's in the paperwork.
Right.
You know, so it doesn't matter if you have a great body, photographed well, you know, very handsome. If you're not 5'10", you do not even qualify to go. It didn't used to be like that, you know, 15, 20 years ago when I was competing. Okay. In the gay pageant arena for men, you know, it is about the fashion. It is about talent. You know, it is much. It's a more to it. It's not just how you look.
Right.
Okay. But at the end of the day, regardless if you're gay, straight, or anything in between, at the end of the day, you got to be a man.
Right.
Okay. You have
Right.
to present yourself as one.
Right.
There is money. There are prizes depending on the pageant. There are scholarships. I mean, so really, Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, other than sexual orientation, there's really not that much of a difference. It's really not.
So why do you think it hasn't been, you know, so much girls or little girls or women, you know, with their reality shows as far as pageantry is concerned? Why do you feel as though there isn't any for men?
Okay. Oh well, yeah. That's kind of easy because when you compete as a man, you compete with who you are. You know, you don't have hair and makeup to hide behind.
Gotcha.
Okay, for example, you know, a lot of people, well, most people know this at this point, I will be retiring from pageantry competition this year. You know, I've won 5 national titles, and the only one that I've won that I haven't won yet is Mr. Continental, which is in September. And I just won my regional competition about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Right, thank you very much.
Where's my live studio?
Thank you.
They was hiding.
Right. And so, and the reason why I share that is that as a male competitor, you know, I have to get ready in swimsuit. You know, so it's bikini trunks and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you know, there is no padding, there is no floral swimsuits to wear. You know, it's either that you're handsome or you're not. You know, we don't have hair to do, and we know we put on makeup for stage, you know, just like actors and performers do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you are who you are.
That's it.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, with the girls, even if they're moderately talented, but they have on a great costume and they're pretty and they presented well, when you're a guy, it's either you're talented or you're not.
It's almost like you're stripped. Like as a guy, you're just stripped.
You're stripped.
You're out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
Very
absolutely.
natural.
And now that I'm retiring from competition, and you know, there are men my age that still compete, but it's harder. You know, I mean, I can remember back in the day, I remember like when I won Mr. USA many, many years ago. I can wait until, you know, 12 weeks before the national pageant, hit the gym, and I won preliminary night swimsuit. Now, I started working for September and January. You know, to get ready, because you know when you age, you know it doesn't snap as quickly.
Right.
But you know, but I'm proud to say that I can stand on a stage with someone, you know, 10 years my junior, you know, and still look good. But I would say to all the male competitors out there, regardless of what arena or what orientation in which you compete, you still got to prepare and remember you're being judged on who you are. So don't think that you can hide behind anything. So therefore, you must take your preparations even that much more seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I can't believe the show is almost over.
I know.
Kyle, I can say is that you gave me a lot today.
You did.
You, oh my gosh, you
5 different shows.
right? You keep it track. Oh my gosh, Kyle. First, I want to say thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
And just giving us all of your background and what you've accomplished, your experiences, things of that sort. But how can people reach out to you if they, you know, we had a caller that called in about, you know, getting their children involved in pageantry. How can people reach out to you?
Sure. Anyone who is interested in pageants, regardless of your age or your gender, and you want to get proper training or know what you should be doing if you don't have any knowledge, please go to www.weproducewinners.com, and that's winners with an S. And someone on my staff or myself will get with you. If you are an actress, model, instrumentalist, dancer, and you're not really looking to get into pageants, but you want to work in the performing arts, modeling, or acting industry, go to www.wcopa.com, which is the World Championships of Performing Arts, where there's $130,000 in prize and scholarships offered, and all the major scouts and agents are there, held every July in Hollywood, California. And I have the responsibility of putting together Team USA, so reach out to me if you want to get involved in that.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Man, this is a good show.
I'm glad you chose me for this.
You know, that's what I was doing. I was going through the Chronicles and trying to figure out my guest co-hosts who would be better fit for each one, and I thought you would have been.
Thank you. I'm about to leave out waving.
You know, I feel like I'm there.
I'm gonna drive down Baltimore.
Elbow, wrist.
Right.
Oh,
Elbow, wrist. I feel like I made 2 new
And
friends.
then you just hit the power.
I can't.
Broke wrist, yes.
I can't. Oh my gosh. save me, Lord. Please save me from this one. I can't with you. Oh my gosh, people! Thank you so much, everyone that listened. Our new listeners.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This has
Thank
been.
you. Did she say her name was Janelle?
Janelle.
Yes. Thank you for calling.
Thank you
Janelle.
so much for calling in and listening in, and everybody that's been listening and supporting WPBRadio.com and WPB Networks and the Style Chronicles. I really do appreciate you. This has been another great Chronicle tonight. Again, Kyle, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure meeting you. And,
Yes,
and
thank you.
I feel like I've been a part of your world in a matter of like 2 hours.
Yeah, you actually you filled us with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and you know, that's good to know that you started at a young age and success can definitely happen, and still in it and looking good.
All you gotta do?
Yeah,
Get his resume.
yes, resume, yes, resume, and actually get do your jeans like that. Do your jeans like that.
I say press them.
Press them. See, press them.
Press them.
Every morning. Press them.
Get those pleats. Cuffs in the pants. Come on
Now, don't get me
now.
wrong, I do go over my, if my jeans are really wrinkled, I do go
Oh,
over.
they're not
disclaimer.
pressed,
but I
Disclaimer.
don't-
Disclaimer.
But
Okay.
I don't do the,
It's in the resume.
I don't do the C word. I
Wow.
don't do the C word. Sorry, Kyle. I love you to pieces, but I just can't bring myself to do
Crease
it.
and pleats. Okay.
And I can't do, right, I can't
Crease
do
and pleats. I like
I can't do the pleats.